We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You know why you need them. Everybody knows.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
It's a reason.
Yeah, I was in on my hotkey sheet, so I was like, oh, where is it? Where is it?
We got to let people know the reason. Better
But it's important.
BetterWater.com.
Exactly.
We love the frogs.
Love the frogs. Got to take care of them.
I got to clean some stuff up here. So the last break, we were playing that Nancy Pelosi clip.
All
3-year-old was listening.
You're not supposed to say shut up.
She was very disappointed.
Yeah.
She was. Did you hear the Nancy Pelosi clip, Mason?
No, I didn't. Uh-oh.
All right, ready? This is, and I'm sorry, Millie, if you're still listening, but this is not me. This is a Democrat, honey. This is a Democrat.
On January 6th.
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American.
So she was very upset. And then my 3-year-old said, and you said stupid. She said, we don't say stupid, Dad.
You said it again.
And I wrote back, I said, sorry, Millie. And she said, that's fine. He didn't say it, but Joan Jones did.
I didn't.
You got to clean it up, Joan. You got to clean it up.
All right, Millie, I'm sorry.
Just, she's unbelievable. This is what I have to work with, Mills. I'm sorry. We got a big show for you today. We're really going to try and keep Joan Jones under control. She's feeling a little bit fiery, but we'll keep her mostly peaceful. We are going to cover the battle of the town halls that happened last night. I don't know about you, but I enjoy a good town hall. All right, I'm lying. I lied to you. I tried to watch the CNN one, and it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. Bernie Sanders and AOC just trying to run as far left with the party as they can. And then on another channel, News Nation, which has anybody heard of News Nation? I don't know if it's reached Newsmax level yet, but they're okay. They tried to play it down the middle. They had a town hall with Chris Cuomo, Bill O'Reilly, John Fetterman, and Stephen A. Smith. And it felt like they were trying to take the Democrat Party back to the middle, which I think would be best for the entire country, to be perfectly honest with you. They're still insane. There's still a lot that I'm not going to agree with those guys. But I could honestly have a better conversation with Stephen A. and with John Fetterman than you could ever have with Bernie Sanders and AOC. So we're going to talk about this. We'll also talk about Donald Trump and Kash Patel. They had a big press conference yesterday. 5,400 children victims have been found and located so far this year. That's a 30% increase year to date over the last administration, which is just an amazing development. And shout out to letting cops be cops. We're going to celebrate that. We'll bring you that press conference as well. That was kind of like the headline there, but the juicy stuff comes from when Donald Trump starts taking questions from the press. because he never scares away from a question. We'll also talk about how Ketanji Brown Jackson, the Supreme Court justice, called black people disabled. That happened yesterday, and we'll cover that for you as well. But we'll begin. Let's begin with the News Nation town hall. I think that's a good way to start, and that's where we'll kick things off. It was John Fetterman, Stephen A. Smith, Bill O'Reilly, and Chris Cuomo. And I thought they did a decent job. John Fetterman does seem like he's turning on the Democrat Party, and you can make the case that he's just playing a little CYA, cover your you know what. But I think that he believes a lot of this stuff that he's saying. I don't think that he's lying. I think this is just how he truly feels, and he says a lot of things that a lot of Democrats won't. That's going to upset his party, make no mistake about it. And there's rumors that he's going to be primaried. I would say good luck in that part of the country, but we'll see what happens. This is Fetterman last night saying that Trump won, and he won because of Democrat extremism. This was John Fetterman last night on News Nation.
Well, if you're thinking about winning the election, and so now that's all going to come down to 7 or 8 states, and that's really that matters. And I would like to remind everybody, because we all know that Trump ran the table all of those kinds of states. And now you can't ever forget, these are the states that are going to determine who's going to be the next administration. And now a lot of the things, the extremism that people turned their back in 24, and that's how we kind of came up short. I campaigned for thousands and thousands of miles across Pennsylvania for Vice President Harris. And it was going to be incredibly difficult. You could just feel the energy there. And people really have connected there at a very fundamental level. And that's what I tried to explain to my party. And I'm trying to explain to the party right now. It's like, this is why we lost. And this is where we need to be to continue to win for these things. And there are parts of extreme things emerging clearly on those things. And that's why I refuse to follow that, even if that is going to cost me support in parts of the base.
Do you think Harris could have gotten a deal with Hamas?
That's a big question. I think we all know the answer to that question. But first, let's talk about Fetterman saying that the Democrat Party is getting too extreme. He's right. One of the main reasons that Donald Trump won is because a crazed leftist tried to remove the back of his skull. Maybe you remember it. It happened in Fetterman's home state. He knows that. But Fetterman is also the beneficiary of the vote blue no matter who crowd. He was running against Dr. Oz. He couldn't complete a sentence during the campaign. And a lot of people said that the only reason they voted for Fetterman was because of early voting. You remember the debate with Fetterman and Oz? One of the most searched terms after the debate between Fetterman and Oz, where he got up there and he said, "Good morning, good evening." Like, that was his first opening line. One of the most searched terms was, how do I change my vote from early voting? Had people seen that debate and had early voting not been in place, I think that Dr. Oz wouldn't be working over at HHS. Dr. Oz would be a senator in Pennsylvania today. Fetterman benefited from the crazies. Will he benefit from the crazies again? Yet to be seen. It's definitely going to be a tougher battle for him. But then the next question comes up. Do you think that Kamala Harris could have gotten a deal done with Hamas? Listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. The short answer is absolutely not, and I'll tell you why. Well, she's a woman. And I know that might be uncomfortable to say to a lot of people, but in these Muslim majority countries, guess what they're not going to respect? You guessed it, a woman. That's the short and skinny of it. That's the reality. And you could probably make the case that she wouldn't get the same respect in Israel for the same reason. Maybe. But Fetterman dances around it. Because at the end of the day, he knows next to his name on the ticket, there's still a D.
Do you think Harris could have gotten a deal with Hamas?
You brought up a good point. I think I was the only Democrat early on to to give President Trump credit for the peace deal.
That is true.
Why wouldn't you?
Yep.
I mean, that's
Harris could have gotten it.
well, again, I don't know. She's not the president, but where I'm at right now, it's like, ask any of the hostages or their families. They think President Trump was a hero and he deserves, the kind of deal for that thing. I think that was really a remarkable development.
Do you think Harris could?
Then the question gets posed to Stephen A. Smith. We'll get there. But just to be fair, Fetterman was losing support in the Democrat base because of the Palestinian protesters on college campuses and speaking out against that. Fetterman has lost a lot of support from the Democrat base over his support of Israel. He did a good job dancing around the question. She's not president. That's neither here nor there. Bill O'Reilly then poses the same question to Stephen A. Smith.
A remarkable development.
Do you think Harris could have got him out?
No.
No. I think Stephen A. Smith is a bit more realistic. And I think Stephen A. Smith, though he doesn't go on to say it, would think the exact same thing that I would say to you. At the end of the day, she's a woman. Those Muslim majority countries are not going to give her the time of day. They're not. You can say it's right, you can say it's wrong, but that's the reality of the situation. Sorry. But then Stephen A. Smith kind of digs a little bit deeper on why he doesn't believe that Kamala Harris could have gotten a deal done with Hamas. And he doesn't say the woman thing. He doesn't say the woman thing. But let's be honest, that's point number one. That's point number one.
Out of respect to Kamala Harris, let me tell you why she deserves an explanation as to why I don't think she could have gotten it done. Because leading into the election, what was the problem? It was extreme capitulation to the progressive left, who were finding reasons to side with, I don't want to say siding with Hamas. I certainly don't want to accuse them of that. But it just seemed like whatever they wanted, the left that wasn't far left was leaning more left. And so because of that, why should we believe that all of a sudden she'd get into office and she'd forget what she thought got her there? That's the only reason I'm saying that. Having said that, I'd like to get back to the...
Yeah, I mean, he gives a politically correct answer. But the people on the left are just idiots. The people that were on the college campuses, queers for Palestine, guess what Palestine would do with you? I mean,
If those kids could read, they'd be very upset.
It doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't make any sense. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, she's doing her book tour. 107 days.
3 people in the audience.
Oh, my gosh. But did you hear what she said to those 3 people last night?
Oh, no.
That is a decent resume, but go ahead.
Well, some people have actually said I was the most qualified candidate ever to run for president.
That's a weird laugh track.
Okay. Now tell us what people other than Tim Walz thought. Can we do that? No. The most qualified to ever run. Ever. More qualified than Reagan.
Incredible.
More qualified than John Adams.
Stunning and brave.
Way more qualified than John Adams.
Oh, for sure.
100%. California wasn't even a state, dog.
Remember George Washington? Not compared to Kamala Harris.
Compared to Kamala? George Washington is the scum on her shoe. I mean, what are we doing here? Kamala. Okay. Spooky.
It is that time of year.
She's going to run again.
Oh, for sure.
She's absolutely going to run again. She has too big of an ego and too small of a brain.
I'm just interested to see who backs her. That'll be the interesting part.
There's going to be nobody backing her.
That's what I'm like.
Well, and like, not even like, I think that if you got to a general to vote blue, no matter who would be there for her. But before you get there, there's going to be donors that you're going to have to appease. And sorry, like, this is a big part of the politics, the donors. And the donors were pissed at her. How much did she waste? It was like 107 days, and she had raised like $2 billion, and then she ended up $20 million in debt.
Yeah.
What? Trump, meanwhile, is negotiating his own deals for the ballroom. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Last night, he's doing the ballroom stuff. These two people could not be more different. He's negotiating the deal for the ballroom last night, he's been negotiating, but he's talking about it last night. And he says that he talked the guy down. He talked the guy down from $3 million to do it to $2 million because he said, he's like, this is historic what you're going to be able to do. Could you imagine Kamala Harris even trying to talk somebody down? She would just throw more money at the situation like she did during her presidential campaign. This was Trump last night.
I give out the contracts myself. Can you believe it? And we just gave out the excavation contract, and I guess he was in for $3.2 million. I said, can you do it for 1.5? No, I can't do that, sir. I can't. I said, this is once in a lifetime. This is the excavation of the White House grounds for what will be one of the best, most beautiful ballrooms in the world. Sir, I can't. So, but I got him down to $2 million, so it's not terrible. So we got it.
It seems so simple. It seems like low key that wouldn't be a difficult conversation to have with somebody. Even being like, this is historic. You get to work on the White House. You better cut me a deal. Kamala could never. And if Kamala couldn't negotiate getting him down from $3 to $2 million for the White House ballroom, do you think, because as we can all agree, right? Like Kamala's not making that negotiation.
No, they'd leave with an extra $20 million.
100%. It would be behind schedule and over budget. But if you, all right, so we could all agree. She couldn't negotiate that. And then we're supposed to think that she could negotiate the release of the hostages with Muslims who don't respect her because she's a woman? I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe I got blinders on. I don't know. I don't see it. We got more from this town hall on the way. And we also got the other town hall that took place last night on CNN, which was a bit more absurd. A bit more hilarity ensued. The moderators didn't really push back against Crazy Bernie or the bartender at all. But the people in the audience did, which created some gems. It really did. So we'll cover that on the way as well. A lot to get through, a little bit of time. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial, Radio Classic. Or you can watch the show, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Rumble's up, right? Rumble's up. It's hard to find. 99.7 WTN on Rumble.
It's there.
Subscribe, like, share. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. More on the way. It's 9:23. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. All right, guys, open enrollment is almost here, but insurance can be confusing. And if you're tired of insurance that feels like a math test, you should talk to Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. He's going to simplify the entire process for you. Cover Nash has brand new nationwide PPO plans that will give you the freedom to pick your own doctors anywhere in the U.S. with no referrals, no red tape, just a $250 deductible, a flat $50 copay for doctor visits, even specialists, outpatient surgeries, only a $250 copay, hospital stays, only $1,000, free preventative care. Not that you're excited about it, but you can get a colonoscopy if you want one because it's ACA compliant. And here's the kicker. No surprise bills, no hidden fees, just real protection from real providers. And if that's not the perfect fit for you, Cover Nash works with over 75 top-rated insurance companies. So they can get you something that fits your needs and your budgets easy. What you got to do, visit covernash.com or call Shane Ring directly. He's at the office right now. Shane's working all the time. 615-465-0023. 615-465-0023. Health insurance made simple. Finally, covernash.com.
I'm Pastor Alan Jackson, and I'm excited to invite you to join me for my brand new show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8, I'll be talking about the week's news and headlines, but through a biblical lens. Together, we'll look at what's happening in our world and how God's Word can guide us through it. Join me, Pastor Alan Jackson, Sunday evenings at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And you can listen on iHeartRadio and tune in.
Why am I so happy and so excited that Jimmy Kimmel lied to his audience?
He had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points.
I'm excited because the liberal and the legacy media have been lying about Republicans for years, and people like this are finally taking notice.
I didn't think much of the death because from what I had heard, Charlie Kirk had been a neo-Nazi who wanted me to be dead. He didn't support my existence and whatnot. And now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I feel like I had been lied to. I really took some time after the, thing happened to kind of look into his videos, look into his beliefs, look into his thoughts and who he was as a person. And to me, he seemed like a well-mannered family man. He believed in the country. He believed in the greater good of the country. He had his own political beliefs and opinions. And sure, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with him on, but I never would stand for him dying or being murdered because of his beliefs. And I think I may be starting to lean a lot farther right in response to everything that's taken place.
The one arrest that makes the whole Memphis crime crackdown worth it, according to Attorney General Pam Bondi. Also, the PA system and television screens at one U.S. airport hacked. Wait till you hear what that message was. Coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Can I be honest? My first thought on the hacking?
Yeah.
I thought it was actually pretty funny. I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm a fan of trolling.
Yeah.
And a good troll is a good troll is a good troll.
But it's an Islamic good troll.
I know. You don't expect them to eat Muslims in a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Things
It
you
is
don't
kind of
expect.
unexpected.
You don't expect it. I don't think they were trying to be funny. I think that's part of the funny part. Looking forward to that in the news. Is it bad that was my first thought? I was like, it's actually
It's terrible
kind of
that's your first thought, buddy.
I thought that's actually kind of funny.
I think Millie's disappointed in you again.
Oh, I'm sorry, Millie. I did. I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Funny things are funny.
You're learning. It's okay.
Funny things. I think it was good. All right. So to be fair, the funniest part was the use of the expletives in a public airport. I thought that was funny. Sorry. I have a really dark sense of humor.
It is very dark.
I have a very dark
You're
sense
dark
of humor.
and twisty.
It is.
Yeah.
It's dark and twisty, but I don't say stupid. We don't say stupid.
Or shut up.
No, we don't say any of that stuff. Millie, if you're still listening, we don't say that. We don't say that ever.
No.
And I wouldn't say the words that were said on the airport PA system.
Absolutely not.
Let the record show.
Never.
Let the record show. On the way, we're going to go to the CNN Run to the Left town hall. Bernie and AOC. Bernie's really shocked that conservatives know how to use social media. And he has a weird spin on it. We'll get to that and more after the news with Joan Jones, which starts right now.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Williamson County football coach and teacher Herman Graham has been fired without pay. Police say he was caught up in a sting yesterday, a prostitution sting, offering to pay to have sex with an underage girl. When he showed up at the hotel, he was greeted by police. He has been arrested. At the White House yesterday, a press conference to announce the results of Operation Summer Heat, the 3-month initiative to crack down on violent crime. FBI Director Kash Patel said 8,700 people accused of violent crimes have been arrested. And Attorney General Pam Bondi spoke about the ongoing crackdown in Memphis.
And there was a 70-year-old man arrested as a result of our operation in Memphis who raped a child under the age of 3. That one case makes everything we're doing worthwhile.
She also noted that at Memphis, federal agents and local police are collaborating. There have not been any clashes as we've seen in other big cities. Nashville International Airport says it is not running the video featuring Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government. And because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay.
Officials there say they have not received a request to feature that video on screens throughout the airport. In Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, somebody hacked into the airport public address system with pro-Hamas messages.
Hacker Cyber Islam was here. Telegramational Cyber Islam. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
Video screens also showing disturbing Islamic images and statements such as Israel lost the war, Hamas won. No one's been arrested so far.
Did they say it's cyber Islam?
Cyber Islam, yeah.
To be fair, that is a peaceful protest.
I guess it would be considered a peaceful protest.
All right, that's enough
sort
for me.
of. Yeah, all right. Quiet over there. That's the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res Nashville. Talk about it all the time. 4 kids, 2 dogs. Carpets really take the brunt of the beating in my home. And before we get stressed out, we just say, call Zero Res. Normally, it's my wife. She says, Chris, call Zero Res. And then I say, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I will. Because it doesn't break the bank. $45 will get any room in your house cleaned. They don't just do carpets. They do everything. These guys are the best. Upholstery, air ducts, tile, the works. If you want to get your carpets cleaned, you don't want the harsh chemicals, you don't want the soap residue, you need to call Zero Res. They use their exclusive ZR water. Carpets and upholstery don't just look clean, they stay clean longer. And the Google reviews, the Facebook recommendations, through the roof because they do a great job every single time. Give them a call today. You won't be disappointed. 615-535-9376. That's 615-535-9376. Or find them online, ZeroResNashville.com. Remember last week with the Tylenol stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Britain, they came out and they said, don't listen to anything Trump says. You remember that?
Don't listen.
Don't listen to the orange man. Tylenol's totally safe. And then we were like, well, should we listen to Tylenol? Because they said don't take it while pregnant.
Yeah, they said
Remember
that a while ago, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, I've come to a new conclusion. We don't need to listen to anything the British government says, which leads me to this headline. First cousin marriage has benefits, says NHS guidance, despite birth defect risk. First cousin marriage is linked to stronger extended family support systems and economic advantages. It's a strong family. Now, it's important to point out the real reason that they're doing this is because they've been culturally invaded by Muslims. I know. Listen, it's uncomfortable. People don't want to talk about it, but we'll talk about it. Diversity is our strength. Yikes. 938 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You guys want some inside baseball?
Inside baseball.
Yeah.
So Mason gets a call from a guy, and he's like, hey, you guys were crapping on a show on Netflix.
Yeah.
And he was asking Mason which one it was. And Mason's like, which one? And I'm like, it's a long list.
Yeah. I was like, there's a bunch on there.
So I was like, is he talking kids shows? Was he talking about Coco Melon? So he said Coco Melon. And then it turns out that was very far away from the one he was talking about.
Yeah, I explained it to the guy, and he was like, no, it's about a trans athlete. And I went, oh, that is not Coco Melon. Nope.
No. What was it about?
It's the Leo Baker story, Stay on Board, is what I found. It's about a trans man who makes it in the skateboarding community.
So trans man meaning like a dude that's becoming a girl or a girl that's becoming a dude? I don't know.
I think it's a girl becoming a dude.
Coco Melon's only about a couple of gay guys and their children.
In tutus.
Yeah.
They're losing it in the head.
Coco Melon.
Coco Melon.
Pro buying baby. What?
Come on.
That's what they said. It's not me.
It's not me. I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. I wouldn't put my kid in a tutu. No. Actually, when my boys were younger, the boys, they do the thing all the time where they'll put on mom's high heels. And we always joke. We're like, you're lucky you're in this household. You're lucky mom and dad aren't crazy. And we're not running around saying stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. Let's go to Bobby real quick. He wants to talk about immigration. What's up, Bob?
Hey, Chris, I won't take but a minute, brother, but I want to let you know something, man. We need to get Brother Holman up there in Minnesota and Michigan. I believe Trump's doing a fantastic job getting not only the Mexicans, but we got a little bit of everybody in there, but Minnesota and Michigan, you know what's up there. We got the Muslims up there, and I'm not saying all Muslims, but there's a lot of people up there, man, that's not legal. They come over here, they want to force their ideas on us, fly their little flags in their vehicle. That's the thing with me is if you want to fly your little flags in your vehicle and everything, why not stay over in your own country? I mean, what's your take on that?
I mean, it always blows my mind when you want to come over to America and wave your own flag, and I think that goes for anybody that's from a Muslim majority country or from a Hispanic country. I think that it just blows my mind. It's absolutely weird. I will say, Dearbornistan in Michigan is one of the craziest places that you'll ever be. And when we lived in Michigan, we were told by several friends, if you guys go to this, they would have like open markets, farmers markets, I guess. And they said, yeah, if you go, just know that nobody's going to talk to Virginia without a head covering on. It's weird. That was a few years ago. Now they have speakers blasting the Muslim call to prayer at 5 a.m. in the morning. And you got people calling it out saying, hey, we have noise ordinances on the books, and we don't exactly see you guys following those. And then you have the mayor calling those individuals out saying, I can't wait for you to move out of this city. You actually have viral videos online where there was a big Muslim festival, and you had guys on public streets trying to tell people the word of Jesus. And the police are saying you can't do that here. Oh, where's the First Amendment crowd of the Democrats when that stuff happens? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Weird. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan. I think the key point of America and immigration is assimilation. And I'm not saying that you have to give up your religion. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. You're allowed to be wrong. I will still preach the truth and try and get you to convert. But that's on you. You got to make that choice. Everybody has to make their choice on a religion. So, hey, continue doing you. But to force it on people in those kinds of ways, I'm a bit uncomfortable with. But, my opinion is my own. So I did want to get to this town hall with AOC and Bernie. But real quick, I want to play a bit of a clip. A lot of what's going to happen with Bernie and AOC is they're going to bellyache and moan about the government shutdown. But during the News Nation town hall with John Fetterman, he was way more in the middle, and he dropped a truth bomb on the Democrat Party when it came to the subsidies that the Democrats are fighting for with health insurance. Everybody needs health insurance. Oh, my gosh, we got to have health insurance. I heard Sam say this earlier on Nashville's Morning News, and it nailed it. Health insurance, it's a service. It's not a right. Sorry. And I heard Dan, and I even texted Dan on my way in. I was like, dude, fiery monologue on health insurance. Because you see what the Obamacare stuff has done, and it's ruined companies. I mean, even here at Cumulus Nashville, people can't work over 29 hours in a week if they're part-time, because then you would need to give health insurance benefits, and that's an Obamacare relic leftover. And I know that there are guys here that would love to be working more hours, but the company can't give it to them because they don't want to give them health insurance. Not naming names. You like that? You like that extended pause for you?
Appreciate it.
I fight for that guy all the time. Just let the record show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But they're fighting for the subsidies because the prices are going to go up. Oh, the price is going to go up. Well, who was it? Who was it that put the deadline on the subsidies? Because they were going to move that money around into woke projects, Green New Scam, and all that. Who was that? Well, Fetterman breaks it down.
That's why shutting the government is really what the Democratic Party wants to do. And I follow country, then party. And it's the wrong thing for the country in a period of chaos. I refuse to vote to shut our government down. I absolutely would love to have... I would love to have a conversation about extending the tax credits for health care. Absolutely. But I would remind everybody, too, this was designed by the Democratic Party to expire at the end of the year. This is not something taken by the Republicans.
I'm sorry. Is there a bit too much truth for the Democrat Party? These people. I can't with these people. That's Fetterman. And Fetterman is the most sane member of the Democrat Party today. And it seems like he's going to be forced with a choice here soon. Do you leave the Democrat Party? Do you become an independent? Do you become a Republican? I don't know if we'd want him, full disclosure. Or do you wait to get voted out of office? So he's got some choices to make, because when you hear with the direction that the party's going on the more mainstream town hall that was aired last night on CNN with AOC and Bernie, who, make no mistake about it, are the leaders of the Democrat Party today, the days of Chuck Schumer calling the shots and Nancy Pelosi calling the shots are long gone. They're going completely bananas, and they're blaming the Republicans for the shutdown. And you would remind them that it's the Democrats who keep voting to keep it closed. But there's this point in the town hall where a TSA employee says, hey, I'm not getting my checks. What should we do? And AOC says, well, we should reopen the government.
Particularly as a TSA employee, I represent LaGuardia Airport, and so yes. I know very, very well all the hard work that you all do and put in, and yes, ma'am. And you all deserve a dignified workplace. I'm
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt so soon, but can I just go on the record to say that TSA is nothing but security theater? TSA is one of the worst things to ever happen. We need to get back to airports having their own private security. It would cost a hell of a lot less, and it would be a hell of a lot more efficient. And I'm sure that that's an unpopular opinion if you happen to work at TSA, but it's bananas. Do you know how many guns get through TSA every year? You know how many weapons make their way through? It's security theater. That's all it is. It's the appearance of being. You're not safer because of TSA. You haven't been safer because of TSA. Just let the record show. Anyway, let's hear more word salad from AOC.
You deserve a safe workplace, and you deserve the paycheck that you are working for. What I believe the best thing that we can do is to reopen the government right now.
Well, then vote for it. Have the Senate Democrat. They said, well, hey, Tell your boys in the Senate to vote for it. We need 5 more Democrats to come across the line. The government would be back open. Then we can get back into negotiating. The CR is clean. It's the same level of spending that the Democrats voted for already. It's the same CR that Chuck Schumer voted for already. Do you want if you understand how important it is for TSA to get their paycheck, Democrats could make that happen today. They won't. Bernie, on the other hand, I mean, he had no answer on this question. This is Bernie Sanders. Basically, this is exactly the moment after AOC finishes her garbage answer. Bernie gets it thrown to him.
Senator Sanders, on that front, on government shutdowns before, obviously you've said before that you believe shutting down the government is a serious and dangerous action. You said that we must do everything possible to prevent it. What would you say to people who are missing their paychecks about why it's worth it now?
Well, let me just, first of all, thank you very much for your service. And we're going to do everything we can and move as quickly as we can to make sure you get your paychecks.
Then open the government and start negotiating. See, why is it different now? Well, because the orange authoritarian Hitler's in office. That's why. They think that this is a winning issue. And it's going to get harder and harder for them as Donald Trump is finding the money to pay the military. He's finding the money to fund the women, infant, and children food programs. The Democrats are on the wrong side of this. And I've seen the polling. It says, well, more people blame Republicans than the Democrats. Oh, are we believing polls now? Is that what we're doing? I remember a poll from Iowa right before the election that said Kamala was going to win. You remember that? How did that turn out? Oh, I forgot. Not good. Not good at all. AOC and Bernie, they do say that they need to. They try to say what they want to see before they reopen the government, and they don't have any real answers. They talk in circles throughout this entire town hall. It was a lesson in gaslighting the entire night. And they say the question is posed to them: what do you need to see before you reopen the government? And they talk in complete circles.
What does that need to look like before you would vote to reopen the government? Or is a commitment from the White House and Republicans enough?
No doubt.
I mean,
Mr. President is a very honest man. And if he says something, man, you could take it to the bank.
So you're saying his word is not enough?
Bankruptcy court.
His word? No.
So what do you need to see? What commitments from?
I think we need to see ink on paper. I think we need to see legislation. I think we need to see votes. And I think we need to see these things pass on the floor of the House and the Senate and signed by President Trump. I don't accept IOUs. I don't accept pinky promises. That's not the business that I'm in.
Do you think she said that answer and thought nailed it? I'm going to say a lot of things without saying anything at all. What do you need to see before you reopen the government? Legislation? Votes? Not doing IOUs? Not doing pinky promises? None of those things are actual, tangible things that you could see before you reopen the government.
Just hitting buzzwords.
I need to see ICE agents' faces.
No masks.
What?
But bring the masks back.
It's bananas, dude. It is absolutely bananas. This isn't even the worst from this town hall. If that infuriates you, there's a lot more that will infuriate you on the way. I promise. I'm sure of it. They get into social media. This is the part of the show where you're going to need to jump over on the YouTube stream and on Rumble, because the facial expressions from these two, they're worth their weight in gold. If you could monetize insane leftist reaction, we wouldn't have 37 trillion in debt. I guarantee you. And we'll prove that point on the way. 9:52. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friend Dan over at Cabinet Makeovers. Dan's a great guy. The cabinets, even better. Realistically, like, the cabinets are amazing. And Dan's like one of the best guys that you can meet. He installed some pull-out cabinets in my home. I didn't really fully grasp how much we were going to love them, how much it was going to make life easier on the kids and on me and my wife, how great of an investment it would be in my home. But I'm telling you, these pull-out cabinets, the pull-out in the pantry, it's unreal how cool it is. If you want to make an investment in your home, think about making it with a family-owned company who let biblical values guide their company. The guys have been doing it for over 45 years, and everything they do is Tennessee-made. Every cabinet that they installed, every pull-out, every drawer, all wood construction, full extension, soft close glides. The craftsmanship is top-notch, and their team has decades of experience. I feel that experience every time I'm pulling out these cabinets. And if you need to make that investment in your home, you should do it with cabinet makeovers. They don't just stop at kitchens. They do custom closets, pantries, cabinetry for every room in your house, all built with that same Tennessee pride and biblical values that guide their business. So do what I did. Call the guys at Cabinet Makeovers today, 615-331-7010, 615-331-7010. I'm telling you, I see these cabinets every day. They're amazing. You can see them for yourself right now online, cabinetmakeoverstn.com. So we got Gavin Newsom out here doing his absolute best to try and intimidate MAGA.
I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these in the mouth.
You know, it's funny. I can't think of one person that's actually intimidated by Gavin Newsom. Okay. I stand corrected. That Chinese kid looked pretty intimidated.
Good morning. It is 10 o'clock now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Couple of accidents on 65 this morning. The first one in Cool Springs, 65 north at Moore's Lane. 3 left lanes blocked off by it. Also a crash on 65 southbound in Talbot's Corner at Trinity Lane with the right shoulder blocked off. In the news, the Senate takes its 10th vote today on ending the government shutdown, and they have something new to consider. Senate Majority Leader John Thune is dangling a vote on extending Obamacare subsidies if Democrats would just vote to reopen the government.
I've said we are willing to have the conversation. I've said if you need a vote, we can guarantee you get a vote by a date certain. I can't guarantee it's going to pass. I can guarantee you that there will be a process and you will get a vote.
5 more Democrats would need to pass the GOP's stopgap funding in order for that to happen. The Oklahoma State Department of Education is rescinding the Bible mandate that it had just put in place. Last year, former Superintendent Ryan Walters issued a directive to include the Bible into lessons for grades 5 through 12, saying the Bible is a necessary historical document to teach our kids. Walters resigned last month to take a job in the private sector. The new superintendent is reversing course. Fresh tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela. ABC News chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce.
This morning, President Trump considering U.S. strikes on Venezuelan soil to combat drug cartels.
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control.
The president also escalating U.S. operations against Venezuela's authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro. Trump confirming he's authorized covert CIA action in the country.
And Venezuela says it plans to take its objections to the United Nations Security Council today. Remains from nearly all of those killed in an explosion in Humphreys County have now been identified.
Investigators have now identified 14 of the 16 people killed by a blast at an explosives plant in Tennessee. Last Friday's explosion was felt more than 20 miles away, and authorities say evidence from the scene may be spread out over miles. The victims were identified using rapid DNA testing and samples from family members. Officials say they are still looking into what caused that blast.
At the White House yesterday, a press conference to announce the results of Operation Summer Heat, the 3-month initiative to crack down on violent crimes. FBI Director Kash Patel saying 8,700 people accused of violent crimes have been arrested, and Attorney General Pam Bondi on the ongoing crackdown in Memphis.
And there was a 70-year-old man arrested as a result of our operation in Memphis who raped a child under the age of 3. That one case makes everything we're doing worthwhile.
In Memphis, federal agents and local police are collaborating. And some guys have it all. Billionaire Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says he won $1.4 million playing blackjack at a casino in Las Vegas in 2004. According to some new tax filings, Pritzker hasn't done it yet, but now he says 1 year later that he plans to donate that money to charity. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I feel like we need a live audience sometimes.
Oh, my
because,
gosh.
having Mason and Sam back there during the commercial break, these guys are bananas.
Maybe we're goofing off a little bit.
They're much more well-behaved on the air than they are in private.
What?
I'm just letting you guys know. That's
Never.
That's the only part of the conversation I can let you in on.
We're well behaved. We're good people.
It's like a conversation where I feel like I got to send these guys to HR.
Hey.
I do. It's still.
You know what? I'll let you know something after.
I will say this. I will say this in classic radio segue fashion. AOC and Bernie were much crazier than you guys were during the commercial break last
Talking
night
circles.
on CNN. Yeah, oh my gosh. They're getting their steps in, talking in circles like that. It's bananas. Show's brought to you.
It's a marathon over here.
Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Gay frogs and such. Betterwater.com.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial, Radio Classic. You can watch the show. We got a heck of a bunch of people on YouTube. Shout out to the YouTube chat. Hail to the YouTube chat. Rumble as well. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. If you're listening online on any platform, there's a share button. It helps us grow the radio station when you hit the share button, when you hit subscribe, when you hit like, when you follow, you leave a comment, all the stuff. It really does. Even if you don't like me, but you like the other guys, you should still help us out and subscribe.
Our goal, I think, I may be overstepping here, but I think the goal here is to hit 12,500 by the end of the year.
Hopefully. I think we could do that.
I think we could easily do that.
If we had 100 dedicated listeners that were willing to create 10 to 15 fake profiles each, we could hit that goal in a week.
Easy.
Hey, so there might be severe weather this weekend, I'm hearing. Have you heard that as well? If you do subscribe on the YouTube channel, we will go live if there's severe weather, and there's a notification bell there. So that way, anytime we go live, it'll ping right to the front of your phone. So if that does happen, turn your notifications on. So that way, when we jump on the stream to cover it, we'll have the radar up, we'll have all the things. That way, you guys can be up to date as much as you can.
Yeah, and if you don't see us, just know it's not as bad as the news is maybe making it out to be.
Yeah.
But we'll make sure to take care of you guys.
I'm ready for snow.
Dude.
Are you ready for snow?
I'm just ready for cold weather in general.
Let's go.
I can't wait for a hoodie. We had our first bonfire earlier this week. Had my brother come back over, all the roommates out on the back deck. It's nice.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's bonfire season officially. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I need snow in my life. At least once.
Yeah.
Need to hit that sledding hill at MTSU.
It's a good one, man.
It's the best hill in Murfreesboro. That's what we're doing instead of playing this AOC Bernie audio. We're like begrudgingly trying to avoid AOC and Bernie.
We're pushing it back as much as possible.
There's only so much we can do, though.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. All right, so one thing I will say, Caitlin Collins was the moderator last night on the CNN Town Hall. She did not push back against AOC or Bernie at all. So that duty was left to the audience. And I wish that I could shake this guy's hand, because this guy brought a question to Bernie. Bernie danced around it. And then the guy jumped at him with straight facts. And Bernie said, whoa, hey, I didn't think this was that kind of town hall. Is that a good Bernie? It's like the best I could do.
That's actually really good. It caught me off guard. I thought he was in the room with us, talking circles.
I've come to you once again asking for money. This is one of my favorite clips from the town hall.
Shutdown reflects on Chuck Schumer's leadership.
Well, I think it reflects more on Mike Johnson's leadership and President Trump's leadership. This is a leadership which said it's okay to give it. Well, how do you feel? You tell me.
So, all right, just if you're not watching on the YouTube stream, you're not catching the video. And there's a huge element that's added with the video. Because when Bernie stops, he's, whoa, tell me what you think. It's because the guy asking the question smiles and shakes his head like, no. Let's start from the top.
How do you think this shutdown reflects on Chuck Schumer's leadership?
Well, I think it reflects more on Mike Johnson's leadership and President Trump's leadership. This is a leadership which said it's okay to give it. Well, how do you feel? You tell me. Think it's a good idea to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the richest people in the country and then make massive cuts the health care for working class people?
I think Chuck Schumer has voted for continuing resolutions 13 times in the last 4 years, and he has the opportunity to vote for one again, but he's refusing to come to the table.
Well, I think, look.
Oh, how did this guy get in here?
Whoa, take a look.
I thought we were vetting these people. He was not ready. He was not ready. And I love how he says he's cutting the health care. He's cutting the health care. And I would remind you of the truth bomb from John Fetterman last night on his town hall.
I would love to have a conversation about extending the tax credits for health care. Absolutely. But I would remind everybody, too, this was designed by the Democratic Party to expire at the end of the year. This is not something taken by the Republicans.
Weird. Oh, so the Affordable Care Act was neither affordable nor caring. Nice. Bernie Sanders wasn't ready for a guy to confront him with facts. The Democrats aren't in general. They're just not. Conversation moves over to social media. It's a nice girl. She's I think she seems sweet enough. She's probably a vote blue no matter who, but she doesn't have the purple hair. She doesn't have the bull ring. What's
Especially
that,
young people.
The septum piercing. She doesn't have the septum piercing.
Good for her.
That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
I would disown my kids if they ever got a septum piercing.
Don't even mention the words around Kennedy.
I'm kidding, obviously, but I would be very disappointed. So
Obviously.
Seems like a nice enough girl. And she says, listen, the Democrats have a messaging problem. And they do. I mean, by all metrics, the messaging is off. And you see that when Bernie's confronted with facts by one member of the audience. You see that the way the Democrats are yelling, oh, well, they got control of the House and they got control of the Senate and they have the presidency. It's the Republicans holding us hostage. When it's like, guys, math. The math ain't mathin'. There's 53 Senate Republicans. We need 60 votes. But math. But the messaging is not effective. And there's polling that says they're blaming Republicans. I don't buy that polling for a second. But the messaging begins on social media. And I'll make the argument all day. Trump won in 2016 because of the messaging on social media. Trump lost in 2020, partly due in part to the messaging on social media being more dominated by COVID and less by the election. And then I think that he won in 2024 because we were in Meme War 3 and we dominated once again. But how do the Democrats get effective on social media? We've all heard the left can't meme. Memes are a currency online. And the best memes, like any good joke, they have a hint of truth, they cut to the core, and they're effective. But the Democrats don't know how to do that.
Republicans have been appealing to audiences, especially young people like myself, online using social media. Why does Republican messaging on social media seem so much more effective than Democratic messaging, and what can we do about it?
I'll just tell you short answer. It's because the Republican messaging is based in the truth. That's key. That's key. The Republican messaging is based at laughing at the absurdity of the left. Mocking is a very, very important factor in what we do. It's understated at times, but laughing at someone and mocking them instead of actually sitting down and debating them, it's so effective. It's like you tell your kids, like, if you're arguing with an idiot from 100 feet away, I can't tell who's the idiot, right? So if we get down in the mud and we argue these stupid points with Democrats about why or why not men should be allowed in the girls' locker room, why or why not we should be supporting a man to go roundhouse kick a girl in a karate competition, you know what I mean? Like, we both look stupid. But if we mock them and we laugh at them and we laugh at these ideas, it's easy to tell who's in the right position. But Bernie's answer is, again, not much of an answer. And there's a lot of lies in this question as well.
Well, that's a great question. I think the Republicans are effective. They have learned a lot about social media. And by the way, it doesn't hurt that their friends own all of the major social media platforms. Bezos owns Twitter or X. Zuckerberg owns Meta, Facebook, and Instagram. Mr. Ellison is going to own you pretty soon. I think he's going to take over CNN, not to mention CBS. So these guys have, they can use algorithms now.
Oh, you guys use the algorithms. Okay, Bezos doesn't own X. Give him a break. He's like 300 years old. Okay, give him a break. I'll give him a pass on that. Right? He wasn't ready for real questions, clearly. But okay, we had one social media platform during the 2024 election. One. Make no mistake about it, Bezos and Zuckerberg didn't even come over to discussing things with President Trump until after the election, when they realized this is what we have to do in order to stay alive. And he makes no mention of Facebook shutting down the Hunter Biden laptop, censoring the New York Post story. He makes no mention of Twitter when it was owned by Jack Dorsey, banning and shadow banning conservatives for certain sayings that were just as low key as learn how to code. No mention of that. None. He makes no mention of Zuckerberg and all of the Zuckerbucks that were thrown into the 2020 election. And now we're just supposed to believe, oh, they're in the pocket of Trump. That's what they are. They're in the pocket. And they're using the algorithms. You sure about that, bro? Because in 2016, we had nothing going for us. And we still won that meme war. Like, nothing. I mean, I remember so often, just friends upon friends having backup accounts because we were getting banned left and right, backup accounts for backup accounts. And why were we getting banned? Because we were telling too much truth. The left can't meme because the left can't stand on business. See, the right can meme, the right can mock, the right can laugh, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to the issue, we're correct. And we can argue our stance, we can argue our position with facts. The left can't. Tell me again why there needs to be a litter box in a middle school bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, please enlighten me in my bigoted worldview, by all means. Also, this one is especially for the YouTube audience. So when Bernie was asked that question, some brilliant people on the right took it. They added a sombrero.
Republicans have been appealing to audiences, especially young people like myself, online using social media. Why does Republican messaging on social media seem so much more effective than Democratic messaging, and what can we do about it?
Well, that's a great question. I think the Republicans are effective. They have learned a lot about social media. And by the way, it doesn't hurt that their friends own all of the major social media platforms.
Again, my point is highlighted there by the meme. I can argue how Zuckerberg was not in Trump's pocket. I can argue how Bezos was not in Trump's pocket all day long. But putting a sombrero on him and a little mariachi music behind him and laughing at his answer instead of arguing with him, entirely more effective. What took me several minutes to lay out is displayed in 30 seconds. You, sir, are absurd. Also, if you're watching on the YouTube stream, you saw the video. When she's asking the question, speaking into a microphone on a PA system, Bernie puts his hand to his ear. Because he's so old that even when the volume is maxed, he doesn't, speak up. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's good. It goes for, there's a lot of people in both parties. We were talking about Chuck Grassley. He's 91. Like, dude, retire. Let some new blood get in there. All these people, all they care about is power. At the end of the day, it's disgusting. It's like the worst type of people always run for office. It's gross. I wish we could get some real Americans in these seats. Bernie, You see him with a sombrero? What a goon. What an absolute goon. The left can't meme. The left can't meme. We knew that. I got a couple more clips from this town hall. AOC was yelling about climate change. And what she did was she blamed the corporations for pouring chemicals into the waterways. And instead of going after like chemical corporations, she blasted an accounting, consulting, and tax services firm because she's an idiot. I'll bring the clip when we get back. It's 10:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Time to get big hype. Vortex Day is coming at the Glock store this Saturday from 9 to 6. Vortex Day is going to be so much fun. What is Vortex Day? Well, Vortex Day is a huge celebration. Vortex just introduced the enclosed versions of their red dot optics along with brand new multi-reticle aiming systems. And just $10 plus a box of ammo is going to get you into a private shooting room for a personalized red dot optic training session. This is going to be awesome, especially if you've never shot with a Vortex red dot optic or with any red dot optic. And when you decide after you shoot with one that you just need to have it, well, then you can apply the cost of your ammo to your new Vortex optic. Plus, Vortex is allowing Glock Store to break the minimum pricing rules, slashing the prices to ensure that they have the lowest prices in the country, period. You're not going to find it cheaper anywhere else, but only on Vortex Day, which is this Saturday at the Glock Store. And of course, with any Glock Store celebration, there's going to be amazing giveaways, including 10 of the new red dot optics. That's a $400 prize you might win just for showing up. That's only at the Glock Store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, especially on Saturday, Vortex Day. You don't want to miss it.
The ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas appears to be on shaky ground, and a recall that'll have you checking the pantry. That and more coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name's Chris Hand. Mason Fleming is producing. It's 10:26. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. A disgruntled Bernie wearing a sombrero makes my heart sing.
And the band that accompanied him.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's good. It's
So
good.
good. Do you want to put it back on the screen?
Oh, I'm here for it.
Angry Bernie in a sombrero.
Republicans have been appealing to audiences, especially young people like myself, online using social media. Why does Republican messaging on social media seem so much more effective than Democratic messaging, and what can we do about it?
Well, that's a great question. I think the Republicans are effective. They have learned a lot about social media. And by the way, it doesn't hurt that their friends own all of the major social media platforms.
Okay. The left can't meme. There's another point that I missed on that, and it has to do with fun. I think the left spends a lot of time being angry, and we choose to have fun and spread a bit more joy. Ron in Brentwood, what do you got, man? Thanks for calling in.
Got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So, I don't call in very often, but I noticed I've been listening to you for about the past half hour, and you brought up the 2020 election a couple different times. And the question I want to pose to you is, do you think we're better off with Trump, quote unquote, losing the 2020 election or winning the 2024 election with Vance on the ticket? Because it's like, I was thinking about this and I was looking back at it. It's like, I don't ever remember any memorable moments with Pence being out in the media, kind of starting to pave his way for a potential run at the presidency, after Trump.
No, I mean, I think that there's a lot of truth to that statement, and I think that and I appreciate the call. If Trump had won in 2020, even take Pence and Vance out of it. If Trump wins in 2020, what's he up against? Impeachments nonstop. The Democrats are going to have the House. The Democrats might have the Senate. It's a completely different presidency. And because Biden wins, you see the devastation that the Democrats caused. And I say this a lot, God won't waste your pain. And there was a lot of pain during the Biden years. There was a lot of pain during the Biden years. But it gave Donald Trump the mandate that we saw in 2024. If we don't lose in 2020, Elon Musk never gets in the fray. We don't get a free speech platform like X. If Donald Trump wins in 2020, who knows where we'd be right now? Would we have accomplished anything that we wanted to accomplish? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it would have been much, much more of an uphill battle. What's his name? Newt Gingrich was on last night with Hannity, and he was talking about Trump being so strategic. And I agree with a lot of what he said. He was talking about how Trump he was completely strategic in how he laid out what he wants to happen in the Middle East. And I understand that it's on shaky ground now, and that was bound to happen. But he had this strategic vision for how he wanted to go about things. I don't know if you can accomplish all of that when you're running up against the Democrats if you win in 2020. I don't think you would. We're going to see a lot more positives because he lost than we would have if he won in 2020. That's my own opinion, and I'd be open to the argument that I'm wrong. Happen to think I'm right. It's 10:30, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Hamas says it just can't do any more to locate the remains of hostages in Gaza because there's too much rubble. Well, now Israel is accusing Hamas of not holding up its end of the ceasefire deal.
Senior U.S. advisors now saying that the fragile peace deal does seem to be holding and that Hamas is making every effort to return the remaining hostages, but aid still isn't flowing freely into Gaza either. But in a sign of President Trump's commitment, the advisor's also saying, look, there are going to be hiccups. The intention is to keep both parties working together, getting them to show restraint and creating the right conditions for demilitarization and also redevelopment.
That's ABC's Ian Pannell reporting. The Supreme Court appears to be poised to change how voting districts are designed. In arguments this week, the conservative justices signaled they don't interpret Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act the same way as it has long been held.
Section 2 of the Act has long been a guardrail against states diluting the influence of voters of color by packing them into districts or breaking communities apart. When a court found Louisiana's map violated Section 2, the state redrew the map with an eye on race to create a second majority black district. A group of non-black voters sued, arguing that was unconstitutional. The court's conservative majority today appeared sympathetic.
ABC's Devin Dwyer reporting. Justices Clarence Thomas, Sam Alito, and Neil Gorsuch suggesting that race-conscious district lines may be unconstitutional. You may want to check the pantry. The Food and Drug Administration says 16 brands of cinnamon could be hazardous to your health. That spice with elevated levels of lead. The FDA issued some recalls, too. You can see which brands are affected on my X account. Find me there at Joan Jones WTN. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones WTN News.
.33 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand here. I just got a text on the text line. Said that my Bernie Sanders impression sounded more like Rodney Dangerfield instead of Bernie Sanders. I get no respect around here. I'll tell you who gets respect, my friends over at Better Water LLC. If you're tired of weird smell stains or just plain old bad tasting water at the home or office, these are the folks you need to call. Think of it like a giant Brita filter for your whole house, so you can scale it down to fit right under the sink, or even for your entire business, and they handle everything. You could have some nasty stuff in your water: sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. We joke about these guys a lot, but it's gross what could be in your water. And they'll test your water for free. If you got any of that stuff in your water, they offer a range of options: reverse osmosis, specialized filters, UV lights, you name it, Better Water has you covered. And they're already doing the work. They're putting it in at the hospitals around town. They're based out of Smyrna. So all the hospitals around are getting their water treated by Better Water. The coffee shops around town are getting their water treated by Better Water. You've probably already tasted their work, and you didn't even know it. But here's the thing. These guys are local, and they just want to help you out. Stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Let Better Water test your water for free. And if you got some nasty stuff in there, figure out what you can do about it. 615-355-6063, 615-355-6063, or find them online, betterwater.com.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
President Trump making news again. The headlines, Chris. Donald Trump revokes the Secret Service from Kamala Harris. Ooh.
The unspoken part of this story is the hundreds of thousands of dollars we're going to save in therapists and PTSD counseling for the Secret Service agents that had to be on that detail with Kamala Harris. You know, we've heard the horror stories of Joe Biden swimming naked around his Secret Service agents, but I wonder how many times they've had to pick up a drunken Kamala Harris off the floor of a Wawa because she's on a Doritos run with Dougie. We don't need to pay for that, and she can afford her own security. I don't think this is much of a story.
It's 1037, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by my friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial, Radio Classic. You can watch the show as well, Super Talk TV. Why do you want to watch a radio show on your TV? Well, because that's the only way that you can see Bernie Sanders in a sombrero. That's the simplest enough answer. It's the only way. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, and I think that's all of them. I think that's it. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. We appreciate it when you do so. Shout out to the chat over on YouTube. Chat's been jumping. They liked my dance moves during the mariachi music with Bernie Sanders. All right, I had mentioned a moment ago Newt Gingrich and what he was talking about. We had a caller call in, and he was talking about, would have been better if Trump won in 2020 versus if he had won or lost in 2020. And I'm of the firm belief that the timing was perfect to have Trump lose in 2020. It sucked for a few years, let's be perfectly honest. And it still sucks in a lot of areas right now, but we're building back in ways that we couldn't have comprehended had we won in 2020. But I mentioned that Newt Gingrich had laid out how Donald Trump had laid out his Middle East plan in 2016. And you got to realize that if he had won in 2020, with all of the resistance that he was going to get, with the media being as frothing as the mouth as they were at the time, things would have been different. And a lot of what we're seeing from Trump now would have never come to fruition. This was Newt Gingrich last night.
And this, I give Jared Kushner some credit here. In May of 2016, speaking to AIPAC, Trump outlined a vision of peace in the Middle East. That's 2016. 9 years later, he's developing the reality. Now, that is a level of strategic discipline and strategic commitment that almost nobody gives him credit for.
He's so much smarter than the left knows.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that Newt Gingrich is absolutely right. The strategy behind Donald Trump's moves and decisions doesn't get enough play. People think he just kind of flies by the seat of his pants. I don't think that that's the reality whatsoever. I don't. And you see it in a lot of the moves that he's making. On the other hand, the left is just completely reactionary in so many different ways. And they go back to the same old talking points over and over and over again. AOC last night during this town hall with Bernie and Caitlin Collins, who has no top lip, by the way. And I feel for her. I do. She's talking about climate change and screaming about climate change. It's like, even when they go back to the same old talking points on the left, they're so wrong in so many ways. AOC is yelling about climate change, and she starts saying, all these companies are dumping chemicals into the rivers. Can you believe this? And then she actually highlights a tax consulting firm as a company that is dumping chemicals into the rivers. And it's like, I don't think that was them.
Rivers in rural areas were on fire because of corporations poisoning the people who lived in those areas. Poor middle-class communities getting poisoned and dumped on by corporations like Deloitte and 3M, pouring chemicals into these places. And they want to call it a Democratic priority.
Deloitte is an accounting, consulting, and tax services firm. Nailed it. Also, I think it's important to point out, ma'am, worried about the climate, ma'am. Bobby Kennedy's now a member of this cabinet. Bobby Kennedy started his career cleaning up the chemical spills in the rivers. Also, ma'am, one more thing. East Palestine, Ohio. Remember that big train derailment that happened under your guys' watch, where they spilled all those chemicals everywhere? It was that huge. Remember that huge mushroom cloud that was just above the sky floating around? I think it went up to Canada at a certain point. That was on your watch, actually. And who was it that made their way to East Palestine, Ohio before Joe Biden did? Oh, that's right. That was our guy. Interesting. And the left-wing controlled mainstream media didn't even want to cover that story. It was independent journalists on our side that went down there to cover that story. Guys like Nick Sorter, who's fantastic and a wonderful follow on X. See, this is what the left doesn't understand. They go back to talking points. We'll go back to facts. Sorry. It's tough. It's tough, man. But for real, get Deloitte, that tax, accounting, and consulting services firm. Let's hold them accountable. That's so dumb. She's so dumb. She's so dumb. Sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I should find a more God-fearing, loving, honoring Christian way to say this. She's so dumb. She is so dumb. So is Bernie. Bernie wanted to talk about ICE raids, and of course he does. This is a great talking point for the left right now. ICE raids, it's the Gestapo. It's the Nazis. They're basically terrorists, you guys. They're basically terrorists. Let's hear from Bernie.
What he is trying to do and what ICE raids and knocking down doors are about is to make all of you afraid. You're a federal employee, don't speak up. You're a government official, don't speak up. You're in a law firm that somehow had clients taking on Trump, don't speak up because they're going to punish you. You are on CNN, we're going to sue you if you ask the wrong questions. My friends, what this is about is a movement toward authoritarianism, intimidating us all.
Funny. Again, sir, may I have a moment? Sir, it was your side getting people fired for supporting Trump. It was your side censoring people. It was your side targeting conservatives with the IRS. It was your side targeting groups like Turning Point USA. It was your side that weaponized the DOJ to go after Donald Trump with some just bogus charges. That wasn't us. That was you guys. It was your guys, actually, that had 274 federal agents planted in the crowd on January 6th. The darkest day in human history. The darkest day. We could do this all day. Trump yesterday was he did a big press conference with Kash Patel. They were highlighting their victories on crime, and there's been a lot of victories. You know, they want to talk about using ICE agents. They're going after criminals, going after child rapists. They're going after gang members. They're going after terrorists. Everybody understands this. It was your side that let them in, by the way. These criminals, child rapists, illegal alien gang members, terrorists. We haven't forgotten about Laken Riley or Rachel Morin or Jocelyn Nungaray. Your side didn't even want to bring those stories up. I think it was Biden at the State of the Union who said Lincoln Riley. He didn't even know her name. But I digress. It was your side that weaponized the DOJ. And Trump yesterday was rather pissed about it when a reporter asked him about the weaponization of his Justice Department. And I haven't seen Trump get angry like this very often in his second term. We would see this in 2016 when he would be dealing with the fake news. He would get upset. He would get irate, and he had every right to by all means. Make no mistake about it. But he was asked about going after his political opponents, and he said, "Excuse me, don't tell me about going after them." He said, "They want to put my son in jail for life."
They want to put my son in jail for something that they made up. So they know they made it up. And they say he will serve the rest of his life in prison. These are sick, bad people. And don't tell me about us going after them. If anything, we've been very, very soft. I wouldn't be that soft, I'll tell you that. Thank you very much, everybody.
I agree. We have been very, very soft. And you know what? It started in 2016. Trump didn't want to go after Hillary. We all knew that he should have. Everybody knew he should have. And you know what Trump did? He said, "I'm going to extend the olive branch." How bad would it look if I lock up a former first lady? In a normal world, that's probably the right call, man. Like, I'm not knocking it At the time, it was probably the right decision. But now, in 2025, no, we need to go harder. People are upset. He's going after Letitia James. He's going after all these people. He's going after Comey. Bolton's going to get indicted soon. Did you hear that? Grand jury, the mustache man. He's going to get indicted soon. He deserves it. Sicko. Jack Smith. Can we go after him? We have been soft. I think everybody understands that. There's a huge contingent of the conservative movement right now that is black-pilled on accountability. Black-pilled meaning they don't think it's going to happen. Nothing ever happens. I think we're going to see that start ramping up. And Donald Trump did talk about deranged Jack Smith a little while ago, yesterday.
Jordan.
He was asked about him, and he let loose.
Jim Jordan has asked Jack Smith to appear in front of the House Judiciary.
You mean deranged, Jack? He's a deranged individual, yeah.
He's asked him to.
Well, they should. I'm surprised it takes so long.
Yep.
You know, we're talking about violent crime. What about the crime against a political opponent? That's what we have to talk about, too.
Jordan would like to understand the full extent to which the Biden-Harris Justice Department weaponized federal law enforcement. What do you think the committee will find out, Mr. Smith?
I think it was the worst weaponization of a political opponent in the history of the world, let alone this country. And I hope that everybody's, they're involved in it. I'm not. I'm the one that had to suffer through it and ultimately win. But what they did was criminal. Deranged Jack Smith, in my opinion, is a criminal. And I noticed his interviewer was, I think that was Weissman. And I hope they're going to look into Weissman, too. Weissman's a bad guy.
They should look into everybody. They should look at, and I got a clip from the interview that he's talking about with deranged Jack Smith, Hack Smith, like we like to call him, the most disingenuous man in the world. I have a clip of that, but think about the comeback from Donald Trump. The only comeback that I've ever heard about that was greater than that was when Jesus came back from death. Other than that, what Donald Trump had to go through, name a better comeback story. The entire deck was stacked against him, and he won. And when he was starting to win, they tried to remove the back of his skull. And I don't know, man. God intervened in that. I don't know how you explain it as anything other than divine intervention. But the interview he's talking about with Jack Smith and Weissman, Jack Smith gets on this interview, and he says that the idea that politics played a role in his case against Trump is, and I quote, absolutely ludicrous.
The people on my special counsel team were like that. The idea that politics played a role in who worked on that case or who got chosen is ludicrous. And Andrew, and this is another thing that I think if you're not inside the U.S. Department of Justice, the idea that politics would play a role in big cases like this, it's absolutely ludicrous, and it's totally contrary to my experience as a prosecutor.
You sure about that, bro? You sure about that? Politics played no role in the Mar-a-Lago FBI raid. Politics played no role in the property valuation of Mar-a-Lago case. Politics played no role. Letitia James, remember her? When she campaigned on going after Trump, politics played no role. Like, I was born at night, but not last night, idiots. Yeah, miss me with this stuff. Real quick, Mike has been hanging on the line. What's up, Mike? What do you got?
Well, Chris, as a Christian, I feel sorry for both AOC and her ilk. However, an old Southern saying goes like, you can educate ignorance, you can medicate mental disease, but you cannot fix stupid.
You're right, Mike. I appreciate it. We'll leave it there. 1052 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Download and subscribe to Nashville's Morning News on YouTube and your favorite podcast platform.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Officially spooky season, and you can get some great perks. Think about it this way. You can put the kids to work without having to worry about child labor laws. I'm telling you. And they're going to have fun doing it. Make your kids carve a pumpkin with Buzz the Bee, and you get a free Beehive Club membership. How good of a deal is that? All you have to do is force the kids to do it. They will. They will. They better. And then you post it on social media and tag Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and boom, you're in. You get the free Beehive Club membership. That's an unbelievable deal. All you got to do is pay for the pumpkin. I mean, you can go to some pumpkin patches, get them for free. Make it happen. Make it happen. Trust me, you're going to love being a Beehive Club member. Now for the real treats. You need HVAC service. You schedule the fall maintenance. You get a free dryer vent cleaning. That's a $229 value. If you're thinking about a new HVAC system, scary good deal. Free 10-year parts, 5-year labor warranty with any system install. That's a $750 value. Busy Bee is hooking you up all Halloween season long. So don't let the home headaches haunt you. Call them today. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
Elon Musk's privately funded tunnel from downtown BNA.
The most cutting-edge transit systems in the
They
world.
call it the Music City Loop. We call it the BNA hole.
We've submitted a list of questions, and so we're looking forward to the opportunity to get answers.
Questions like, how does a tunnel work? Or how can I be the biggest a-hole in the room without even trying? Because clearly, the fiscally responsible thing to do is to keep traffic backed up until every driver becomes an a-hole. The BNA hole. Zero cost to the taxpayers, and that's the real problem for the left.
I kind of think that's on brand.
Not enough opportunity to play tax collector a-hole. The BNA hole, where progress goes to upset liberals.
A new report says home heating costs this winter are going in an unfortunate direction. Details at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can let this music breathe for a little bit. Let it breathe. We got RJ training, so I must let him know. For the music I like, we got to let it breathe. I know the YouTube chat can't hear it. We got yelled at for copyright violations a couple times. Sorry.
It's best music on the station.
It is. We have the best listeners in the world, by the way. A couple people reminding me that Millie, my 3-year-old, may still be listening, so not to use words like dumb. I love you guys. I got several texts about that. She's not listening, so I'm allowed to say dumb right now. We don't say dumb, though. We don't say it. We don't say it. I also had quite a few people reminding me of all the things that the left had done. And I was reminding people, what the left did. And there's so much that's like, I forget. I'm just a man. I'm but a humble meme farmer. And I do radio in my spare time. And I forget all the stuff that they do. But you guys don't. You got memories like elephants. And we got the best audience in the world chiming in on the text line in the YouTube chat, 615-737-9996. 6173 said, this is in direct relation to AOC. It was your side that got Amazon out of Long Island and canceled 25,000 jobs. Yep. Randy texted and he said it was your side that got attorneys disbarred for challenging 2020. That's a good one. 5025 said it was your side weaponizing FEMA against the right. Bingo. We could keep going. We could do this all day. You guys always with the best texts, with the best comments. We appreciate you. Yet Donald Trump still won, still persists. He had a massive press conference yesterday with Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. Maybe you've heard of him. And they announced a lot. Kash Patel spoke. Pam Bondi spoke. Pam Bondi, I'm very critical of her. But you do also have to give praise. If we're going to be highly critical, we should be just as eager to give praise on the success, right? I think that's fair. And there has been some successes. Pam Bondi laid that out yesterday. Donald Trump broke everything down. He also had some new threats for quite a few cities. San Francisco, Boston, we're looking at you. And we'll bring you all that audio when we get back. It's 11 o'clock. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. According to a government report, the cost to heat homes with electricity will rise this winter by about 4%. We get more from ABC's Rebecca Jarvis on some reasons.
Now we've seen this big increase in demand from electric cars, from appliances, and then the really significant culprit, AI data centers. They have become a hot button issue. They've seen candidates from both political parties point to this issue, especially in Virginia, which is home to Data Center Alley. And according to a report from Bloomberg, electricity now costs 267% more in a month than it did 5 years ago in areas that are located near significant data center activity.
Now, if you will be heating with gas, your costs are expected to fall by about 1%. House Speaker Mike Johnson says negotiation on Obamacare subsidies is being held up by Democrats in the Senate, refusing to approve that short-term funding bill to end the government shutdown.
The Obamacare subsidy issue is not the issue of today. It is in a subsidy that expires December 31. We were always planning to continue the debate and discussion about that issue in October and November. Ironically, Democrats are taking the time off the clock for us to do that.
Now, they rejected that GOP bill in the Senate for a 9th time yesterday. Still no end in sight. President Trump says he's considering military strikes against drug cartels in Venezuelan territory, ramping up operations that until now have focused on the sea. Here's Mary Bruce.
It comes after the U.S. carried out its 5th deadly strike on an alleged drug boat off the coast of Venezuela. Trump posting video on social media saying 6 male narco-terrorists aboard the vessel were killed in the strike. The Trump administration's operation in the Caribbean first began in early September and has drawn fierce condemnation from Democratic lawmakers who say the strikes risk getting the U.S. into a full-fledged war.
President Trump also confirming he's authorized covert CIA operations in Venezuela, potentially against Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Venezuela says the U.S. is pursuing a policy of aggression against Venezuela and would bring it up at the UN Security Council as soon as today. The ceasefire in Gaza is holding, although it's on shaky ground. Israel accusing Hamas of not holding up its end of the ceasefire deal because they say not all of the remains of the hostages who died have been returned. Hamas says it's located all of the remains it could, and outside groups have offered to help. We get more from ABC's Ian Pannell in Jerusalem.
There are a number of issues that have emerged. One is disarming Hamas. The militants have been reasserting their control in the parts of Gaza that the IDF has withdrawn from against other armed groups, some of them organised based around clans, family clans, others criminal elements. But their methods have sometimes been violent. Horrific images emerging in a video verified by ABC News appearing to show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Elon Musk's privately funded tunnel from downtown BNA.
The most cutting-edge transit systems in the
They
world.
call it the Music City Loop. We call it the BNA hole.
We've submitted a list of questions, and so we're looking forward to the opportunity to get answers.
Questions like, how does a tunnel work? Or how can I be the biggest a-hole in the room without even trying? Because clearly, the fiscally responsible thing to do is to keep traffic backed up until every driver becomes an a-hole. The BNA hole. Zero cost to the taxpayers, and that's the real problem for the left.
I kind of think that's on brand.
Not enough opportunity to play tax collector a-hole. The BNA hole, where progress goes to upset liberals.
Most of that'll taper off for Sunday afternoon, but it will be much cooler Sunday. Highs.
Solution to our problem, the Chris Hand Show. Government is the problem. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 11:07, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch the show, Super Talk TV, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Anywhere that you're listening or watching online, it's got like a like button, a subscribe button. You can do that for us, help us grow the digital footprint. It also has a share button. If you like what you get here on Super Talk, please hit the share button. I think that's probably one of the most important buttons that you could hit. So we appreciate you doing that for us. However you may be doing it, however you may be listening, thank you very much. My name is Chris Hand. Did I say that already? I might have said that already. It's all right. Find me on X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. All of my channels have the exact same handle, at Chris Hand on Air. You hit the follow button, I will follow back, as long as you don't look sketchy. Some of y'all look sketchy. Just like, I'm kidding. All right, so we do got some more stuff to get to. I was talking about Donald Trump and the big developments that we had from yesterday. They walked out. They touted a lot of arrests, 28,000 violent criminals, and a lot of illegal firearms seized off the streets. We've doubled the amount of violent criminal arrests in 2024 so far. And Trump yesterday at this press conference was flanked by Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. And, Trump was there. He was there to tout the success that they've had, and he has to do this because the mainstream media is not going to do it for him. They'll call him an authoritarian. They'll call him Orange Hitler and all the things. But what he's really doing is he's making America safe again. And this was a campaign promise. And once again, we got promises made, promises kept. This was President Trump yesterday.
A sweeping law enforcement effort known as Operation Summer Heat. We were in many cities that people didn't know about. We kept it a little quiet, and it had a big impact, and you'll hear that in a second. But over the past few months, FBI offices in all 50 states made crushing violent crime a top enforcement priority. That's what they did, rounding up and arresting thousands of the most violent and dangerous criminals. And these are among the most dangerous and violent people in the world. They were allowed, in many cases, not in all cases, but in many cases, they were allowed in by a very foolish, actually stupid, open border policy. Just anybody could have come in. They emptied out their jails, their prisons, their mental institutions. They emptied them into our country.
He's right. I mean, the contrast couldn't be more different. Not only did the last administration allow these people in, they invited them in. Then they paid for their health insurance, and they paid for their housing. In some cases, they paid for their rides to work so that way they could steal American jobs, all the while saying that the border was secure. Weird. And then in other cases, you can make the argument that the radical left was funding domestic terrorism. Looking at you, Antifa, the Summer of Love, and the riots that happened after that, the brick ferry dropping off pallets of bricks. We got videos now of Antifa in Portland getting all their gear. All their gear is being dropped off. Brand new gear, brand new umbrellas, all the things. Wonder where that funding's coming from. I think we know where the funding's coming from. It's coming from you and I. It's being funneled through the homeless industrial complex. We talked with Jonathan Cho, an investigative reporter for Frontlines, Turning Point USA. He's also a senior fellow at the Discovery Institute. And that video is available for you on the YouTube channel, or I'll get it up today, where he breaks it all down. He was at the Antifa roundtable, and the money is undoubtedly coming from the left. And some of it's taxpayer dollars. It's crazy. But this administration has been cracking down.
And the people behind me have done an incredible job because if we didn't have that administration, it would have been so much easier. They allowed millions of people in this country that shouldn't have been allowed, including over 11,000 murderers, half of whom murdered more than one person. And many of them are gone now, or they're put in prison because we don't want to have them come back. So we literally put them in our prison, which we don't want to do. But we bring them back to their countries. Working with state and local partners, the FBI arrested over 8,000 violent criminals during the course of this period. In major cities like in New Orleans, Nashville, we saw a 250% increase in arrests. And we really went after the bad ones. These include 725 individuals wanted for violent crimes against children and murderers.
And the left will say that this is an authoritarian takeover. Violent crimes against children and murderers. We can't keep letting Trump get away with this, you guys. We can't. It's crazy. This is the reality of the situation we're in. They'll call him an authoritarian. They'll call him Orange Hitler. They'll call ICE the Gestapo. They'll call them the SS, all the things. Kash Patel, though, he highlighted really the fruit of the work. And the big fruit is 5,400 children being rescued. And this didn't happen under Biden. Under Biden, they would go missing. You can make the argument that the Biden administration facilitated one of the largest human trafficking operations in American history with that wide open southern border. kids being sold into forced labor. We saw it when ICE raided the marijuana facility in California just a couple months ago. The left cried, oh, the kids are running. It turns out the kids were being forced into labor at the marijuana farm. Oh, farming's the backbone of America. It's a pot farm. It's a little different. But Kash Patel announced yesterday that they got the location of 5,400 children victims of criminals. They have found and located them, and that's a 30% increase year to date over the last administration.
It's a 3-month span. You had 8,700 arrests of violent criminals. You had 2,200 firearms seized off the streets permanently to safeguard our communities. You had 421 kilograms of fentanyl seized. Just to put that in perspective, that's enough to kill 55 million Americans alone. You had 45,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, and thanks to our Department of Justice partners, you had 2,100 indictments in 3 months, from June to September alone. Mr. President, that in and of itself would be historic for a 4-year presidency. You did that in 7 months because you let good cops be cops, and you partnered us with the right people, the Department of Justice, to put the handcuffs on and bring him to court and put him in prison. And if that weren't enough, when you look at the year, for the entire 7-month period that we're talking about here, if you look at the past 4 years of the Biden administration, 16,000, 17,000, 15,000, 15,000. That's the number of arrests year over year of violent felons in this country for the Biden administration. Mr. President, in 7 months, you have 28,600 arrests of violent felons in just 7 months alone because of your leadership and the dedication of the men and women at the FBI who want to go out there and do the job they were prevented from doing because that department used to be weaponized and politicized. And this is what happens when you take out the fangs of weaponization.
He's right. He's right. And where are the Democrats celebrating all the illegal firearms being taken off the streets? We're told that guns are so bad. They're so evil. They're so scary. Has any Democrat come out and been like, wow, congratulations to the FBI. This is unbelievable. Getting these guns off our streets. No, it's been crickets. Has the mainstream media covered this at all? No, they haven't. It's been crickets. Why wouldn't the mainstream media want to tout the successes of the Trump administration? I've heard more mentions about the No Kings protest that's coming up on Saturday than I've heard about the success of the FBI. Doubling what the Biden administration would do in a year in 7 months. Is that good? Is that good? Is that good? I think that's good.
This number is historic by every metric. 28,000 people have been arrested, violent felons alone. And then when you go over there and look at some of these charts, if you don't mind, I'll just hop over here. Look at the metrics for not just violent crime, but the homeland. Mr. President, during your administration, the FBI has found and located 5,400 children. That is a 30% increase year to date over the last administration. Violent crimes against children arrests alone are up 10%. Gang arrests are up 210% in the last 7 months alone. And transnational organized crime, which Stephen Miller has been a great partner in, is up over 12% alone. These numbers are historic just as a snapshot. But just so people don't think we're focusing on violent crime alone, the national security mission, Mr. President, under your leadership has never been stronger.
Where's the celebration? Where's the celebration? Again, this is what happens when you let cops be cops. This is what happens when you're more worried about violent offenders than what Melania Trump is hiding in her underwear drawer. This is what happens when you're allowed to go after the gang members instead of rifling through Barron Trump's room. It's an amazing change. I'm surprised that I haven't heard of any success stories about it on the media. It's weird. It's weird. Pam Bondi also echoing the same thing. You've taken the handcuffs off cops, let them do their jobs. You let cops be cops. That's why this is all happening. That's why it's happening. President Trump said that he had the lowest crime summer in 20 years. 20 years. And you'll hear leftist politicians, J.B. Pritzkers of the world, say, well, crime is down. Crime is down. Yeah, you heard that in Memphis, too. They always ignore that the FBI has been in the city for 6 months now. They leave that part out. And they never give Donald Trump the credit that is due. But the reality is that they stopped handcuffing cops and they started handcuffing bad guys.
Crime declined nearly 20% nationwide compared to the same period last year, and it was the safest and most peaceful summer in 2 decades. And honestly, we haven't really even gotten going yet. If we didn't have to fight all of these radical left governors, we could have had Chicago taken care of, as an example.
Yep.
They had, in a short period of time, 4,000 murders in Chicago, and we have to listen to this man stand up and say that we're bad people. And the people of Chicago are walking around with MAGA hats. You have women, beautiful black women, walking around with MAGA hats. Please let the president in, and we don't care how he does it. They're not interested in National Guard.
Please let him in. Well, and these women are worried about their sons, their nephews, their brothers being shot down in the streets of Chicago over just bovine scatology. I mean, call it what it is. J.B. Pritzker, he went on the news and he's like, the reason we have a gun problem in Chicago is because all the red states around us don't have any common sense gun laws. Where's the celebration about the 2,200 guns that have been removed from the streets? Guarantee a good percentage of that was in Chicago. Don't you know? No celebrations. No celebrations. President Trump also announced where he plans to go next. That city, with the lucky honor of getting that, is going to be none other than San Francisco.
Strongly recommending, at the request of government officials, which is always nice, that you start looking at San Francisco. I think we can make San Francisco, there's one of our great cities 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and now it's a mess. And we have great support in San Francisco, so I'd like to recommend that for inclusion, maybe in your next group.
I think they could clean up San Francisco real quick. I do. If they let Trump go in there and do what needs to be done. I mean, we saw how quickly Gavin Newsom cleaned it up when Xi Jinping came to town. You remember that? Very quick. They scurried those homeless away. They cleaned up the poop that's on the sidewalks, and they said, please don't use needles in public right now. We have our boss coming to town. I'm sure they could clean it up quick. He also put other cities on notice, Boston included. And he said, listen, if you're not doing your job, we're not going to allow you the benefit of the World Cup coming into your city, which I think is awesome. It's a bit of carrot. It's a bit of stick. You want the added revenue of the World Cup? Well, not if you're doing a terrible job when it comes to crime. And make no mistake about it, Boston has been awful. Michelle Wu, the illustrious mayor that has a no whites allowed Christmas party a couple years ago, she has done nothing to clean up crime in that city. And I tell you that just from personal experience. I still have family that lives all over the area. It's a hellhole. I love Boston. They've ruined the city. People are just using needles out in public all over the place in front of cops. Nobody cares. They're letting out illegal aliens on the streets that have raped children instead of turning them over to ICE. It's disgusting what's happened there. There's absolutely no way that I would give them the World Cup if it was up to me. Can we give it to a better city? I mean, let's be real. And these cities should feel some pain if they're not going to take care of their citizens.
Somebody said, would we think about taking the World Cup away from Boston if they don't straighten it out? And the answer is yes. We have the right to do that with FIFA. So if we think that LA is going to be bad, or we think that applies a little bit to the Olympics too, but we'll talk about FIFA first. FIFA is very hot. If we think there's any reason that, whether it's Boston or anywhere else, that they're not doing their job, we're going to take those World Cup games and move them someplace else.
I hope they do. And I hope they don't wait on that. I hope they make that decision soon. It's 11:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as the best, USS. And I got some questions to ask you. I mean, it's really easy to ignore the red flags in your house, but just walk around today and be like, are these floors sagging? Is that crack showing up in the drywall something that I should have somebody take a look at? Is this door that's not shutting right a bigger issue than I'm paying attention to? The answer to all those questions is yeah. I mean, these aren't small problems. These are warning signs. And it's got to do with your foundation. You see, a solid foundation is the backbone of any strong home. And when it weakens, it's not going to fix itself. We're not there yet. AI is not going to fix your house for itself. This is why you need to call the best. You need to call United Structural Systems. These guys have been doing this work since 1994. They have over 30,000 satisfied customers. And you don't get there by fumbling and bumbling around. You get there by keeping homes dry, stable, and secure the way they should be. USS uses American-made adjustable steel supports built to last and backed with a transferable warranty. This is how confident they are in the work that they do. Even if you leave the house, the warranty can stay. From I-beams to custom crawl space repairs, they fix it right the first time. So when it comes to your home, call the people that we trust, United Structural Systems. 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems. Find them online, USSTN.com.
All right, drivers got a crash over on the East Bank going eastbound at Shelby Avenue. Then by the airport, a crash on the right shoulder, 40 westbound before Briley Parkway. A Middle Tennessee high school football coach caught up in a prostitution sting. This story in more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 11:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. I wanted to get to this today, and I don't have enough time to do it the credit that it deserves. But the case known as Louisiana versus Calais, I believe it is, or Calais, considers whether Louisiana's congressional map, which includes 2 majority black districts, violates the 15th Amendment and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. The Voting Rights Act of 1965, I get why it was there. It took down barriers like literacy tests and poll taxes that hit black voters in the South hard. But honestly, right now, I think we can all understand that it's outdated and it causes issues by stepping on states' rights. Biggest problem is going to be the federal overreach, and it's not needed anymore. Racial blocks are not there on voting. They're banned nationwide. Voter ID stuff, that's race neutral. It's fraud prevention, let's be perfectly honest, and I think it's better let court deals with actual problems one by one. That's my professional take in a nutshell. But yesterday, Ketanji Brown Jackson was arguing for this, and to be honest with you, it sounded like she was one of the ones arguing the case against the Supreme Court. And she said something that was so asinine on so many levels. She directly compared black people to disabled people not being able to enter buildings. And she literally said, black people are disabled. I wish I was making this up. Remember, Joe Biden only picked her because she's a black female. Let's listen in.
I guess I'm thinking of it, of the fact that remedial action, absent discriminatory intent, is really not a new idea in the civil rights laws. And my kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory in effect because these folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system, right? They're disabled. In fact, we use the word disabled in Milligan.
They're disabled. The first female black Supreme Court justice yesterday said black people are disabled. Whoo, okay. All right. I'm going to leave that one there. Actually, no, I won't. I'll close with this. Put this on the screen for me. This is the Babylon Bees headline on those comments. Clarence Thomas gently explains to Ketanji Brown Jackson that not all black people are mentally disabled, just her. It's 11:30. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee, Centennial High School football coach and former Tennessee Vol Jay Graham has been arrested in a Nashville prostitution sting. Police say he offered money for sex with someone he believed was a 16-year-old girl and was taken into custody at a hotel. Graham has been fired from his coaching job, suspended from teaching. He now faces felony charges. Authorities have identified the remains of 14 of the 16 people presumed dead after last weekend's explosion at the AAS factory in McEwen. Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis says the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation used rapid DNA technology to match samples from the scene with those provided by family members.
And I think that's just the blessing that a lot of these families need is to be able to figure out some type of closure.
Davis also cautioned those who are donating money to support victims' families to be wary of potential scams. Channel 4 says you can find a trusted GoFundMe created by Dave Campbell, a reporter for the Hickman County Times. It's titled Operation Surround for Hickman Humphreys County. Heating costs are climbing this winter, with the U.S. households expected to spend nearly $1,000 on average. In Tennessee, electric bills could top $160 a month, while natural gas users may see slight savings. Rising heating costs this winter, driven by surging electricity demand from AI and industrial electrification, global natural gas price pressures, expensive grid upgrades, and weather volatility. Massive job cuts at the world's biggest food company. Here's Wayne Cabot.
Nestle is letting go of 16,000 people globally. The maker of Kit Kat, Häagen-Dazs, Lean Cuisine, Stouffer's, Hot Pockets, Nespresso, Coffee Mate, Fancy Feast, and Friskies says the world is changing and it needs to change faster. Like other food makers, it's dealing with rising commodity costs and the negative impact of tariffs. Shares of Nestle rose on the news. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's time to fix the pain in your life without surgery, without painful injections, and without opioids. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They do this all the time, dealing with your back pain, your neck pain, your knee pain, and they do it in their own unique way. Right now, they have a special going on that's called the Big Daddy Trump Special. It's not going to break the bank. It's only $12. It's going to get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment for only $12. You heard me right. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley just want to get you back to that pain-free life, and they've been doing it for a lot of people. Their patients say all the time, why don't other doctors explain it the way you guys do? I'll let them answer that question. But what I can tell you is whether it's back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs, they'll treat it all with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. No surgery, no injections, no opioids. Grab your MRI and get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. I'm Chris Hand of the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Has my seal of approval on this deal that could change your life. Painisbad.com.
WTN.
11:37, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Been reading the text line and the YouTube chat during the break. Mason's in the studio. RJ's producing. I'm getting yelled at by everybody.
Yeah, I heard you were leaving long responses there.
They did. So one guy, I was talking about Kentucky Brown Jackson, the Voting Rights Act.
Yeah.
And some guy said, "Hey, Chris, white people have never been second-class citizens. What do you know, white boy? You hide behind a platform and say racist remarks on an average. Whatever black man whooped your ass in high school, let it go." So I just said, LOL, okay. and then in the YouTube chat, I'm getting called a lefty.
What?
The duality of the audience. I don't know, man. It's a special thing. And then I'm also being
paying attention.
I'm also being called a Yankee because I'm from Boston.
Wrong area, guys.
Wrong.
Up north, further north.
Yeah, here we go.
Listen, I got to bring it around every 3 months. If I don't, then I feel like it'll die off, and I can't have
Perfect.
that.
It's nice to have Mason in the actual studio.
This is weird.
Is it weird for you?
A little bit. I'm used to a little bit of a divider, so I don't have to be right in front of you.
Yep.
But
no division.
No division.
We're about unity here on the show.
We all stand together.
Speaking of unity, it is time for the segment of the show that brings everybody together. We like to call it the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Every day this time, all the stories that we didn't have a chance to get to, all the stories that wouldn't fill a whole segment, and anything that you guys want to add, 615-737-9986, or you can drop it in the YouTube chat or the text line, whatever you want to do. We got a lot of good ones today.
Yeah, you had a good one lined up that we talked about earlier a little bit.
Do you want me to start with that one? Do you think that's where
I think you should
Is that the lead?
I wouldn't lead in. I give a little appetizer first before jumping into that one.
Do you think because you're in the on-air studio, you get to tell me what to do now?
You just asked my opinion. What are you talking about?
All right. We won't lead with that one, but we will get to it. I promise. First story in the lightning round.
Oh, is that what it sounds like on time? That's weird.
It's good, isn't it? It's good. He's been. I think Sam's been sticking around to show me.
Oh, that makes sense. Makes sense.
First story in the lightning round. This is bananas. It's actually sandwiches.
Almost there.
In the UK, can you put this on the screen for the YouTube chat? In the UK, they're now putting carbon scores on sandwiches.
Interesting.
So if you're watching on the YouTube stream, you'll see the picture. It says carbon score. Eating this uses 8.1% of your daily dietary carbon allowance. What?
For what?
This is why digital ID is such a scary prospect.
Yeah.
Because if you use digital ID, your bank account is going to be tied to your digital ID, and now your carbon tax is going to be tied to that as well. So you're going to be, are you going to be taxed for going over this in the future?
Oh, I don't know.
That's what they're going to do.
My carbon footprint is growing because I had an extra sandwich today.
How dare you have a steak and cheese, you monster. Is this not the craziest thing in the world?
Yeah, I was like, don't tell Joan, her Philly cheesesteak about to disappear.
This is happening. Eating this uses 8.1% of your daily dietary carbon allowance. This is in the UK.
Interesting. Take it with a handful of salt there. It's in the UK.
That'll add to your carbon score.
True.
You use that much salt. Alex Berenson on Twitter said this is already happening in places like China. Combine this with digital currencies and omnipresent surveillance. Digital IDs put citizens at the mercy of the state in previously unthinkable ways. Carbon scores for sandwiches. It doesn't even look like a good sandwich.
Scores for sandwiches.
Let the record show. It looks like one of those gas station sandwiches.
Like the mediocre.
Like not even the ones that I'm not talking like a Wawa sandwich where like it's made fresh. I'm talking or like sheets. I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't knock those guys.
It was like prepackaged triangles.
Yes, prepackaged triangles. Exactly. Does anybody even eat those sandwiches?
I've had
one. Why?
Because I hadn't eaten all day and I work a couple jobs here.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I had 30 minutes to get to the other place.
And then Mason wonders why he's 15 minutes late because he has a bellyache in the morning.
Yeah, oh no, for sure. Like, I know why it's killing me.
All right.
No, but it was one mistake that I will never make again.
Okay.
I've learned.
Are you sure about that?
It's been a while. Haven't had one.
All right. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. Little late. Xpeng. Have you heard of Xpeng?
No, I haven't. What's Xpeng?
They are flying cars from China.
And
they're gonna
allegedly.
They're going to start mass producing them next year, per the Wall Street Journal.
How?
Everybody's going to have a flying car. Would you buy a Chinese flying car?
Depends. Is it coming from Temu or is it coming from Wish?
I think it's Shein.
I
find this terrifying.
Yeah, I do 100% too. There's no laws for it yet.
No.
Traffic control, we're already apparently understaffed according to BNA. So, like, I don't know how we're going to deal with flying cars.
I just foresee a lot of accidents in the future.
Oh, absolutely.
Mid-air collisions.
People can hardly stay in lanes on the current ground. How are they going to do it in the air?
I would get a flying car fast, though.
A fast flying car, or you would order one quickly?
I would order one.
Doesn't surprise me.
I would do it.
Where you could be up there with all your bird drones.
Yeah, I don't trust.
You can monitor
them.
them.
You know what?
Monitoring you.
As soon as I was in, I'm back out.
Yeah, I mean the first half. Not gonna lie.
Here, put this picture on the stream. I don't know what that is. It's like a Cybertruck with some extra wheels, like a Chinese Cybertruck.
Flying dumpsters.
It's like a Chiber truck, and then you see the flying car, which it just looks like a 2-person drone.
Interesting.
It's bananas.
Like big propellers and everything underneath, or is it like
no? Yeah, on top of it.
Interesting.
A lot of propellers. It looks like six propellers.
I hate to break the fourth wall here, but that's not a car.
That's a helicopter, bro. You bought a helicopter.
Bought a helicopter with extra steps.
All right. Yeah, it's a helicopter with extra steps. It's a good point. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. If flying cars don't freak you out, how about regular cars with the software updates that just happen on the highway?
Oh, no.
This happened to a bunch of people with Jeeps. They sent a software update for their hybrid 4xe, and you didn't get to initiate it yourself. It just started doing it, and it bricked cars on the highway.
Oh, awesome.
This woman has a horror story. She says, and just like that, we've gone from being some of Jeep's biggest fans to being absolutely horrified. Unfortunately, our 4xe, right, at 4xe, I don't know what to say, got hit by the new software update while we were driving on the interstate, and the car completely stalled mid-drive.
Jeez, I hope it didn't lock up the wheel, like all power steering just gone too, probably.
Yeah, they just
have to like force that thing to the side of the road.
The Teslas do the software updates, but you have to initiate it.
Yeah, you have to initiate it, and I think it has to be plugged in too, doesn't it?
I'm not sure about being plugged in. I know
Is
it
that
has
just
to be
an Apple thing?
I think it has to. Yeah, probably. It has to be connected to Wi-Fi. Speaking of which, you know what bugs me about Apple phones?
Everything.
Well, no. So, have you ever seen the optimized charging thing?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, we're gonna pause charging to optimize your battery, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean to get off on a tangent here. And they say, we'll resume it in 3 hours. Okay? Why not just stop charging it when it's full?
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, what would be great is like a little eject where it pushes your cable out.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't necessarily need that because then technically your battery will go down. But like not by like that much.
It's insane. All right. So anyway, this Jeep, she said, thankfully, AAA came through fast, and our local Jeep dealership was incredibly helpful, getting us into a rental right away. But at Jeep Cares didn't care and said it would be one business day before they could even assist us. Buying a car valued over $80,000 and having this happen is completely unacceptable at Jeep.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm glad mine killed itself a couple months ago, so I didn't have to worry about this.
Well, but the software updates are on the...
I know, but Jeep is just notorious for bad issues, so if it's coming to those, it's probably coming to the others.
I liked my Jeep when I had it.
I liked it for a little bit, but the amount of issues that I dealt with a Jeep over 200,000 miles just wasn't worth it, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
That's me personally, but...
All right, got another story for the lightning round. This one's the big one. You ready?
This one made me...
It's really weird. Woman is tricked into traveling to Thailand for fake modeling job, only to be killed so her organs can be harvested. Yikes.
Ooh.
It's not a real job.
No. No, this may be a dark question. But do you think they sold her organs for more than they promised her for the modeling gig?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Like I've heard a good liver goes far.
It does.
Maybe a heart?
Dude, they're probably selling lungs.
Oh, easy.
Kidneys.
Got 2 of those.
A woman, this is a crazy
It's a nuts story.
I don't understand why you would think that you have to move to Thailand for a modeling job in the age of the internet.
Scam.
A woman was reportedly, people think that like Brad Pitt's hitting them up.
Yeah.
Like needs help with money.
Especially with AI right now. Be like, oh, Brad Pitt's video calling me right now.
AI is weird now. A woman reportedly tricked into traveling to Thailand for a fake modeling job before being forced to work as a slave and killed so her organs could be harvested on the black market. Vera Kravstova, 26, originally from Belarus, flew to Bangkok to secure what she believed to be a modeling job, but was taken across the border to Myanmar by a brutal gang. Typically, such victims have their passports and mobiles confiscated, cell phones, and they are threatened with organ harvesting or forced prostitution if they fail to scam money from online victims.
Wow.
Chinese gangs and the Burmese Burmese militia run the sinister call center factories in a lawless border zone where abducted workers are subject to torture and extortion. As many as 100,000 slaves may be held in these places, it's estimated. That's dark. That's a war I could get behind.
The war on human trafficking?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of shoots and contracts, she was taken across the border to Myanmar, where she was made a captive of a scam center, reported MASH news outlet. The only requirements for her job were to be beautiful and extort money from wealthy clients. When she stopped making money, contact with her was lost. Vera's family was informed she was dead and that they would have to pay $500,000 to get her body back.
But she didn't.
And then a few days went by and they said, oh, she's cremated.
Oh, changed their mind.
Russian online media outlet Shot reported beautiful women flirt with men on dating sites, offering them to invest in something. The money is then transferred to the scammers. Vera went silent in early October. A little later, unknown individuals contacted her family, informing them that she had been sold for her organs and her body had been cremated.
Just imagine getting that news as the family members. It's like, oh, I haven't heard from my kid in 3 months. What's going on?
Dude, it's insane.
Oh.
That's insane.
It's nuts.
If it's too good to be true, chances are it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a banana story. She accepted the modeling job, unknown to her parents, who are taking part in the war in Ukraine. She was then smuggled across the border to Myanmar, back in Thailand. Oh, this is another girl. Back in Thailand after her rescue, she thanked the Russian Foreign Ministry for rescuing her and sending her home. I mean, this is happening to a lot of girls.
Yeah.
The internet's a scary place, man.
Yeah. My friend's mom worked in helping recover human traffic victims for, I think, 8 years. She worked with the teams helping set up stings and whatnot to help retrieve those girls to get them out of human trafficking, because Nashville is one of the biggest hubs for it in the United States. People off Broadway, people go into the bars. It's easy to get roofied, get taken, it's awful.
That's terrifying, and that does it for the lightning round. It's 11:51. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here, and I got to tell you about my friend Brink Fiddler over at Defense Systems. Brink is an awesome guy with a wealth of knowledge, and the team at Defense Systems is amazing. I've taken the training from Defense Systems, and it's unbelievable. They're a life, safety, and security consulting firm, and they specialize in physical security and active violence mitigation training. They trained me on real-life skills that I could actually use that could save someone's life or even my own. And these are skills that I don't want to use these skills, but I'm grateful that I have them. They train everybody. They've trained schools, corporations, country music tours, manufacturing plants, law firms. They trained our whole team here at Cumulus Nashville. They brought them in, and it was eye-opening to everybody, the entire staff. It's not like check-the-box training. It's real skills that you can use anywhere, even outside of work. Do you know what would happen, what you do if you get shot in the arm? What about the chest? I mean, there's different procedures for both, and you're going to be thankful that you have these skills. They've done this for over 30 Middle Tennessee schools, and I've got to ask you, has your child's school had this training? It's not something we want to think about. It's not something that we want to accept as a reality, but active violence events are on the rise. Statistically low, but sometimes danger spills in everyday places. And if you or a loved one were critically injured, you'd want to know what to do. So don't wait until it's too late. You can visit defendsystems.com or you can call Brink and his team directly, 615-236-6484. That's 615-236-6484. That call absolutely could save a life. Defendsystems.com. It's 11:58.
Racist.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I was just telling Chad. I said, Ketanji Brown Jackson, a black Supreme Court justice, the first black female Supreme Court justice ever, stunning and brave. She called black people disabled yesterday while arguing for the voting rights.
That was her
Act,
argument?
Section 2. Yeah, you didn't hear it?
I listened to a little bit, but I mean, like that can't be your only argument.
That was pretty much it. That was the gist.
That was it. That was the argument that she had.
Yeah.
There was nothing else behind it. It's like, they're disabled. That's like, hey, you know what? Like, remember
so
Kathy Hochul? Black people, we need to teach them how to get on the internet.
Do you remember Joe Biden?
Yeah.
He said, poor kids are just as good as white kids.
Like there's no poor white kids.
We were driving home from Virginia. This is over the summer. And I remember we stopped off at a random exit. We're in Western, Virginia. And we pull into a Dollar General because you're in that part of the country. That's the only store that there is. And across the street is a motel. And you could tell that people are living there full time. And there's all these kids that are coming across the street, young kids, white kids. And they're buying snacks and they're going back to the motel where they live. I remember looking at my wife and I went, white privilege.
Do you think those white kids were as good as the other white kids?
I think so. But it's just like, are you kidding me? It's a huge joke.
Oh, God, that is just, white privilege. Get your card.
What are you talking about today?
You know what? We'll talk a little bit about the Pentagon, Venezuela. I told everybody we're going into Venezuela, so be prepared.
Huge fan.
Of going into Venezuela. What a waste of time that is.
Huge fan.
What a waste of time.
Well, I agree. Missiles are faster. To quote President Trump,
what a waste.
Take out the boats.
Just tell me the truth. We're going there because they got oil.
Why is that the truth?
Because that's the truth.
Are we going to take the oil?
Oh, yeah.
When?
We already had stuff there. When they nationalized it, they took the oil. They took all the rigs away. But they also want to go into Guyana, and they want to take all that stuff. The big oil companies were in Venezuela for years until Chavez took over. They want it back.
I don't know. I don't exactly prescribe to that same line of thinking.
Absolutely.
Agree to disagree.
We did that in Iran. They nationalized everything in Iran, and we're like, you know what? We got to get rid of this guy. Let's put the Shah guy in and see how this works out.
Every time, though, they've said that we've gone to a war for oil, we end up with no oil.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just have a hard time believing that that's going to happen or be the case this time.
Well, we already had stuff. We already had the oil there, and then they took it away from us.
So we're not taking their oil.
No, well they have all the machines. We're taking back all the stuff that was ours, but that helps.
All right. Chad's in next. Looking forward to the conversation. It's 12:01, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.